Hello and welcome back to Critical Rocket. Today I'm going to be looking at probably one of the most controversial mechs made in Mechwarrior Online, the Spider. Specifically the 5V variant. I've got this in a few Draconian colours here, and I'm running it with two medium pulses, a few jump jets, obviously the biggest XL engine I can squeeze in there, and a little tag laser. I basically run this as a little spotter, and it's about as close as I can try and get to the original variant, although it doesn't necessarily have a tag. But yeah, it's still fairly weak by comparison, but it's the bane of many mech warriors in-game because of its rather controversial hitbox situation. As you can see from the cockpit though, it's pretty cramped. The mech is very, very small. It has a very slim profile, which makes it difficult for at certain mid to long ranges, difficult to hit accurately, especially when you're trying to take out a leg or a side torso. As you can see that, it's a redo my weapon groups due to the patches, sometimes resetting them. Now this is on the HPG map, so sounds might be a bit weird if you haven't seen this before, but basically the sounds act as in you're in a vacuum, although everything else is in a vacuum. It's a weird thing. Don't pay too much attention to it. But this map is perfect for a little mech like the Spider because it allows that true kind of maneuverability, and that's really the strong point of the Spider, is that it can go unnoticed and sneak in behind entire lances and just sit there and let those LRMs rain in. It's like the Locust, it's one of those incredibly useful scout mechs, and if used properly can be more damaging to an enemy team than a direwolf or an Atlas, simply because it can give that vital information that's needed. Now the guy I'm chasing down, obviously he had an unfortunate run. He got in there and he got chewed up. He'd survived, but I mean the next hit on him is pretty fragile. It's one of the downsides, obviously, in any light, is that it doesn't really have the staying power. But compared to the Locust and its contemporaries, at 30 ton, it does feel like it takes the damage of a low-end heavy. As I said, this is because the hitboxes on the Spider are still kind of a work in progress for PGI. And as a result, it's not really a mech I like running too often because it feels kind of cheap. It's too easy to sort of run rings around much larger mechs that, you know, realistically, if this was the Battletech tabletop game, it would have been dead a long time ago. But I won't deny it. There is a certain joy in running this mech. It is incredibly maneuverable. It's fast. I mean, I get hit pretty bad here and by a direwolf. By all rights, I should be dead, but you can see that damage is spreading all around the mech rather than the point he's probably trying to hit me at. And I come out of it relatively unscathed. But yeah, it's a phenomenal scout mech. It's a great little team support mech. You can go on the offensive with it. I've seen several builds that focus on rather heavy direct fire weapons like an ER PPC or an ER large laser. Not what I would particularly count as beneficial to the team personally, but it's a good way of getting a few cheap kills on people. Other variants, like I believe it's the 5K, will have 4 machine guns, which makes it good at hunting down other lights because you don't have to worry about heat and you can just hold the trigger down, and it's got plenty of room after the machine guns are put in, obviously, to whack in about 5,000 or 6,000 rounds of machine gun ammo and still have weight left over to put a laser on there just as like a last ditch weapon. Obviously the 5V also has the benefit of being an ECM capable mech, which means again, if used right, you can ruin an LRM player's day by shielding a good portion of your team, and also by ruining enemy target locks or countering larger targets like Atlases who may not know where you are. And
target destroyed.
Yeah, I don't know if it really has any drawbacks. If anything, if there was a first-time player and they said, I fancy playing light mechs, I would recommend them running the Spider. Its only drawback is that it doesn't have the punch of other lights in the same sort of weight category. You know, between 25 and 35 ton, it doesn't have SRM capability. It doesn't have much in the way of ballistics capability. At a push, you could get an AC2 on one of the variants, but your ammunition is going to be limited. It really isn't a mech designed around killing other mechs. It's a mech designed around spotting other mechs and
New target
helping
acquired.
to finish off heavily
Target
damaged
destroyed.
targets.
New target acquired.
Yes, these guys getting torn up here. As I said, this map kind of perfectly offsets the spider's maneuverability with the multi-level environment that allows its jump jets to come into play, hopping around quickly and nimbly and just dancing around weapons fire.
Target acquired.
It's one of the reasons I kind of like light mechs. I think lights and mediums, because I like the maneuverability mixed with the relatively
Target
thin
acquired.
weapons offering, because granted you don't get the big toys like the AC-10s and AC-20s and Gauss rifles and LRM-20s and stuff, but you do get you are forced to make good with what you've got, and I think that can push you as a light pilot to do better. Sometimes you can pull out phenomenal damage, which you'll probably see in one of my later videos, where you really wouldn't expect it, but a light mech can still be almost as punishing as an assault mech if used rightly. Correctly? Yes. Anyway. Yeah, make a bit of a blunder here. And the guy I was helping runs away. Quite rightly so,
Target
because
destroyed.
Mad Cat is not something you want to get up close and personal with. Probably the most broken mech of the clans, not in a negative way, in the sense that it's actually very, very good. Very, very effective, and has a shit ton of armor. I worry more fighting Mad Cats than I do Direwolves, but beside the point. Yeah, so as a wrap up, I'm not happy with the Spider at the moment personally, because I feel that it really isn't reflective of the other light mechs. Because if you play a Spider for say 10 games and then jump into a Raven for 10 games, even the ECM variant, you are going to immediately see a very different set of matches, because the Spider and its hitboxes are still broken. And so it has a knack of living longer in the fights, and you tend to do better because of that fact, because other pilots are frustrated trying to hit you. But I can't deny if it's that put aside, it's a fantastic scout, it's a good spotter, it can help a team out with its ECM, it can help a team out by being able to reach locations others can't, to provide that spotting ability. It's so small, even by Commando and Locust standards, it's still very, very small. So it's good at being able to hide in a portion of a map that you may not necessarily look. And yeah, for that reason, I would recommend as a first time sort of light player, you would be best served in Spider, because it is a very rewarding mech to play. Once you get the hang of the high speeds, once you whack a big XL engine in this and you max out the armor and whatever build you want to go for, yeah, you're not going to go wrong with the Spiders. I haven't seen a bad Spider for ever, really. I got lagged. I'm sorry about this. This is just me now wandering around for a while. Until the end, till this last person gets sorted. Isn't that always the case, eh, folks? Always that 12th guy. He just won't pop out to die, will he? As you can see, the cockpit reminds me a lot of the Locust. They managed to give it that kind of claustrophobic feel, where you don't seem to be that far away from the frame of the cockpit. It does give you the sense that it is a very tiny mech, a bit like a sort of fast-moving coffin, really, once it gets killed. There he goes. I believe that was a kit box. And yeah, that's it. So yeah, that's the 30-ton section wrapped up. Stay tuned next couple of days for my next video, which will be, I believe it's the Jenna next, of the 35-tonners. So once again, thanks for watching. Comment if you have any comments or any requests, just let me know, and I'll see you around.